Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the last match of the Six Nations, a competition that has absolutely flown by, but now we're ready for the final match. Now, this was the table heading into the second last contest. Since then, we have seen the English get themselves a bonus point win, so they move up to 20, and now it is their competition to lose, although France, of course, they will be right on the heels trying to get themselves the victory, and any form of win here for the French will mean that they are the Six Nations 2025 champions. So for the Irish, at best, they can finish second, I believe it is. More than likely, though, finishing third after such a great start to the competition. Looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, for the French, it is Jean-Baptiste Grue, Pietro Malvaca, and Yui Antonio as the number 3, Flamand and Gilliard as the locking duo, with Francois Cruz-Baudiant at 7 and Gregory Aldret as the number 8, Maxime Luku alongside Roman Intermac in the 19 combo, Mo Farah and Fiku in the midfield with Biel Barry, Damien Pinot and Thomas Ramos as the back three. That is a sensational lineup. Here for the French, they are up against a tough Scottish side who want to cause an upset. They can't win the Six Nations. They can stop France from being able to win it. Pierre Schoolman in the front row alongside Dave Cherry and Xander Fagerson. Then Gregor Brown alongside Grant Gilchrist in the locking duo, Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge and Matt Fagerson as the number 8, Ben White and Finn Russell. It's a 9-10 combo, Tom Jordan, Hugh Jones in the middle with Duan van der Merwe, Darcy Graham and Blair Kinghorn at number 15. Now I should also mention, ladies and gents, it is a very chilly evening at the Stade de France, which does mean, more than likely, it's going to be maybe a little bit of a scrummage-based game. We might see a few handling errors along the way, in which case I honestly don't know which side you give the advantage to. France are always extremely hefty when it comes to the size of their pack, but whether or not that makes a big difference here, we will soon find out. But in the chat, we have got, he's alive, says George. I certainly am. Here we go, says Kernovec. And also we have got there, the only upset is the Scottish stomach, says George. And 68-14 has put a cock amongst the pigeons, says Stephen. Yeah, certainly not the score that a lot of people would have been anticipating, but it's still, in terms of the overall outcome, hasn't changed anything. Whether England were to win that game with a bonus point and a points differential of, let's say, 5 in their favour, or whether they were to win it by the massive margin that they did, either way, it still comes down to the fact that they are going to need a win here, France. And their points differential will carry them through. So both sides almost rearing to go, and France will win, says Matthew. And if they do, of course, that will give them the Six Nations title, a massive prestige that last couple years has been held by the Irish. So France want to write their name in the history books. Without Antoine Dupont, of course, he was injured in that last matchup. So now reliant on the other French players. And let's not beat around the bush. Maxime Luku is a world-class 9. And I feel he'll be able to play very well here up against the Scottish Duan van der Merwe. He's the type of Scottish player that needs a lot of the possession today. But Scotland, they want to be the side that can really cause the upset here. France to repeat the lesson, says Jimbo, and France will have confidence after beating Ireland in Dublin. And yeah, the fact that they're in their own backyard now for this matchup just puts that much more pressure on Scotland. But also, there's a fair amount of pressure on the French. At the end of the day, they lose this game, they lose the Six Nations. So everything is to play for, and that will lead to some brilliant rugby indeed. Looking through at the benches, and once again, the French have decided they've taken the liking to that 7-1 split. So Geelong, Jajou, and Meafu, all there as forward replacements. And then Machon, another one to definitely keep an eye on. Lee Garrick, the youngster, he's also brilliant when it comes to his halfback ability. So, you know, it's not all lost with Antoine Dupont gone. Of course, it is a massive blow to the French, but I think they'll be just right in his absence. For the Scottish off the bench, they have gone with the 6-2 split. And they have got a couple handy players there, Johnny Gray, Ewan Ashman and Rory Sutherland, all to try and add a bit of physicality later on up against this French side. But they are just showing the countdowns for the two sides to make their way onto the field. Hi again, Hamish, I'm back. France 35, Scotland 25. Says Kevin. Ridiculous bench, says Jimbo. And I hope, Hamish, a good Scottish name isn't asleep, says Stephen. I am here, Stephen, so hopefully you've clicked like play or something. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be working. I slightly choked there, but yeah, I am still alive and not asleep. But national anthem's just around the corner. This is a big atmosphere, and I feel like the Stade de France is a pretty awesome stadium to have just because of the light show that it offers. It is always must see. And, you know, it's just a big game. It's got that big match feel. We know that someone is walking out with the Six Nations, whether it is the French. Where do they put the trophy, I wonder? Would they have it in France, or would they have it in England, or perhaps a replica? They'd have to have 2 trophies, right? Because or else... Yeah, they're just talking about the lifting of the Six Nations trophy. So what? Is it in France at the moment, but they'll fly it to England if England win it? That might be the case. Because, of course, England can't lift it now anyway. So that actually makes perfect sense, to be fair. They've put it where it looks like it's most likely going to be. The national anthem's just about to take place. I hope Scotland don't get grubbed. Yeah, I'm a bit the same. If Scotland are going to lose here, I want them to lose with pride and lose with a close game. So basically it boils down to this game, huh? Well, best luck for both teams. Hamish said he getting some kiwi pies and brandy. He might be late, says Ander. I don't know whether I said that. Quick helicopter ride, Paris to London, says Jimbo. Yeah, I'm sure it wouldn't take them very long to get it to the English. It would probably arrive halfway through their celebrations, which have already started after a massive win over the Welsh. Flower Scotland is about to be played. I can throw out the previous results for these two teams. The French have been dominant throughout this competition. The closest any side came to beating them was beating them, and that was the English. 26 points to 25. Other than that, though, they have been flawless. And some of these score margins have been absolutely insane. Definitely that game up against the Italians, winning at 73-24, was one of the most impressive ones there. Although, to be fair, beating Ireland in Ireland, I think, does take the cake. Looking at the Scottish and what they have done, they beat Italy by a couple tries. They were beaten by a couple tries up against the Irish. They lost by 1 point up against England, and then narrowly defeated the Welsh in a game that they should have secured well and truly before the point of the Welsh comeback. They had a lead of, I think it was 20-something points, and everything just kept going wrong to the point of Wales almost coming back, and that is something they can't afford to have here up against France. If you concede multiple tries in a row, you're going to be in trouble up against Les Bleus. Oh, yeah, there, Hamish. Did you start a GoFundMe campaign for your trip to South Africa? Yeah, I did not know. But I was looking at flights before, and I did see that they're about 2,500 New Zealand dollars. So that's about, I think, what is that? I think that's 250,000 Rand. That might be correct in terms of the conversion rate. In fact, that might actually be 2.5 million Rand, now that I think about it. It's one of the two. We have there, wee Darcy belting it out, says Cal Mack. And probably the most important match of the weekend because France can become champions, says George. And how can you change, or how have you changed since the Wales-England game? How have you changed? As in, how have I not changed? Because I'm still wearing the same shirt, maybe. We have got there, Hamish, you look refreshed. And what's your prediction? I am predicting, I'm going a French win, but I really hope Scotland keep it competitive. Now, they've actually decided to go a cappella. So 26,000 Rand, says Tonian, for the conversion. So, yeah, definitely not the 2.5 million that I mentioned. Hi, Hamish, going good. Says Jan Lou, welcome in. And a good day, brother Hamish. Here we go, last game. And come on, Scotland, do us a favour. Says Andrew. Yeah, I don't think well, to be fair, we normally see it every year around this time, how certain countries in the Six Nation kind of go together to try and beat the champs. But in this case, the English are firmly behind Scotland in this contest, which is weird to say because it wasn't that long ago they were having their Calcutta Cup rivalry and the players were having scuffles out there on the pitch. And now it's all good because everyone wants the common goal, it would seem, of France to not win the Six Nations. But, you know, it was not too long ago that goal was actually for Ireland not to win the Six Nations. So it's weird how it can change, isn't it? You have a great prediction, Hamish. Scott's to give it a good go. How's you are a true legend, brother? Says Birdie V. Thank you very much, mate. Hopefully your breakfast did go well, if it has already taken place. If not, hopefully it is going well. But they are just showing those two starting lineups yet again. We are just about to get into this match, ladies and gentlemen. Do let me know your score predictions as well as who will score the first try of the match. The thing is, it's either going to be a quick-fire French try in like the 4th minute for Damien Penaud, or I'm going to say 7 minutes in Jamie Ritchie. Way too specific. I should have just picked a team that I thought was going to score. At that sport, you can love and hate in the same day. We're all brothers and sisters, says Andrew. Did you know we have more mosquitoes than all the money in the world times 10? That's a lot of mosquitoes. And Penaud for the crack. And 32 for the French, 28 for the Scottish. The two teams are on the field. Big chance here for Mo Farner. Be a dangerous ball runner up against Tom Jordan. That's a bit of a dream matchup per se. Probably one that people haven't thought about much. So what did I say? It was Penaud in the 4th or Ritchie in the 7th, I believe was my 2 score predictions. If either of those are right, I would be slightly sad because that seems like something that would probably pay a lot of money. Have you ever offended yourself? Absolutely. Big time. Sometimes I say things on live stream and I go, I shouldn't have said that. And also in videos, it's better because you can censor stuff or like cut it out. I didn't intend on stirring the pot regarding Mr. Marmite. I was just stating that viewers can simply block him if it's not for you, says Tony. And honestly, like, it was one of those ones that he's always been on the verge of getting in trouble, but like he always just slips under. I feel like I give people maybe too many chances. I'm not sure who actually blocked him in the end, but that's a good clean out. Already big shot from Damien Penaud. 2 million rand is still worthwhile to visit South Africa. Beautiful country, says Craig. So that would be the equivalent of 200,000 New Zealand dollars. That will buy you half a house here in Kiwi land, but Scotland will kick this one downfield. Haven't managed to find touch with it. Ramos on the halfway line. He's going to try and go through, but Dave Cherry gets a good low tackle made on him. I hope I can stay awake on 15 cans of beer, says Patrick. Sounds like you've had a pretty busy day. But now, Aldrit. France will want the early try, like I said. They've got to wait 3 minutes, though, before Penaud's allowed to score. Now, Maxime Luku goes off to the side to Gregory Aldrit. This is the type of game I would be very curious about France's mindset, because a lot of the Six Nations, they have been willing to take those threes, and I don't think this game would be any different, but they're also in that situation. Deep down, they'll know they have to score a lot of points to make sure that they well and truly secure this game. That's better than listening to the wife, says Patrick. Oh, wrestled into touch there. It's actually popped out on the hands of Finn Russell, so they might check to make sure that he didn't end up with that position. And it is going to be the line out here for Scotland. Just a big shot from Damien Penaud right off the bat, setting the tone for this contest. Let's go France, says why you want to know. And Lily, a good score. So 42-18 for the French. It might not be a mile off. Thrown in, almost stolen by France, putting pressure on the line out, and he's wrestled out. Dave Cherry, some physicality shown by Le Bleu. And a Miller from the UK says, why you want to know? Wait, so if you're from the UK... Oh, no, never mind. I was about to say UK, and you're going for France, which means you're not going for any of those teams that have a decent shot of winning, including England. Now thrown in, nicely taken by France, and they will look for the rolling maul. It's gone backwards once. Pieter Malvaca, big rolling maul, still marching forward here. The French just driving it, and it is still moving. That's going to be a new penalty advantage here, so they can honestly throw everything into this one. Maxime Luku looking for the ball. Please let it go. No, they're not going to. He's going to hang on to that for as long as he can. And now this is probably going to be a three-pointer. I would think, although I would have loved to see him give it to Damien Penaud since we are 3 minutes in. If Scotland win, England wins the cup. Correct. Yep. So Scotland, at the moment, they can be either the best friend or the worst enemy in this situation. So really, it's a lose-lose for Scotland. Even if they win, people will be like, "Oh yeah, but you gave it to England." So then they'll still be like, honestly, I wouldn't want to be Scotland, but I just hope they play really well. It does look like Ramos is going to be lining up the 3 points now. If only I'd said the first points would be scored in the 4th minute rather than the first try. Unless, of course, they retain their kickoff. I shoot myself in the foot by going too specific. I should have just said Penaud first try scorer. That was it. But now Ramos gets the kick over. And that is going to make the score now 3-0 in favour of the French. They'll be happy enough to take the early points that are available. As for all we know, there might not be that many points out there on the park. Probably, though, looking at the odds at the moment, the way that it does currently sit, French are favourites, as you would expect with them being on the home field. We'll also get up the percentage, in fact, for what the likeliness is of both of these sides being able to get the win. There's a very high kickoff. Percentage at the moment, 89% for the French to be able to win it. Now, Maxime Luku, they are inside of their own 22 here, the French, so a long way to go up the field. As much as I hate Scotland, I may have to support them this match, says Wildcat. And we have got there Ramos. Is it Mr. Reliable? Yeah, and only, they said, 7 points away from reaching a bit of a milestone. So that could be brought up more than likely in this game. Cross kick, beautifully done. Out to Duan van der Merwe, who does slip over. These evening games seem to be a bit brutal for him. Can't get the legs underneath him. Schoeman goes across now. Next, Lim Luku rushes up. Kinghorn. Oh, well, that's a rough offload. Darcy Graham picks it up well, though. So, Hamish, what's the least France have to do to win the comp? Just win this game, pretty much. So, they could win it by 1, and they will still win the Six Nations. I don't believe there is a way that they can get the win without, like, the win for the competition without winning this game. Maybe if they drew. In fact, yeah, if they drew and they scored 4 tries, they would still win the Six Nations because of points differential, but the likeliness of that happening is very slim. If you come to South Africa, you'd have to make it worthwhile, like you wouldn't just watch Supersport and Livestream. You'd also pay rugby, or play rugby with the Dolphins, right? Says RIP. It would certainly, if I was to go to South Africa, I'd want it to be a relatively long trip. You know, more than a couple weeks. Now, nice steal for Pieton Malvacha. Scotland trying to get the turnover and the breakdown, not quite able to get it. Now going off, Ramos. Oh, cross kick to Damien Penaud was not a good one, but beautifully taken under the high ball. Mofana grubbers it inwards, and the ball goes dead. It's now going to be a goal line dropout. And yes, please, says Caitlin in there, and horrible cold dew and slippery when wet, says Ruth. Now goal line dropout here. There's Antoine Dupont sitting with I believe the French players. Oh no, he might actually be in the stands. He's got a big jacket on, he's got a cap, he's trying to hide, and they've gone, hey, it's Dupont. Now Ramos going after Gregory Aldret. As Scotland need every winning point they can get going forward to ultimately get into the top 6 for the World Cup. Also, we play to win and play for pride and honour, says Robert. And no, a draw and a bonus point would not be enough for France. England currently sitting on 20 points, France 16. You are? Yeah, you're correct. So, yeah, they pretty much just the win is enough, isn't it? Please no snotty noses on this program, says Val. Yeah, no, the hay fever is a lot better today, which I'm extremely happy about. As I was sneezing as often as they were scoring tries throughout Super Rugby, and that's a lot. Hamish Dupont on the sub bench. He is not. No, he is far away from the bench, unfortunately, due to injuries. It was in that last game up against the Irish. Keep it PG-13. Was it something I said or something the chat said? And so tell me, Hamish, I wonder who coach is going to coach now, where the Welsh Rugby going to go? Yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle. I don't think there's many coaches who are jumping at the chance of coaching them. That's a nice tackle made by Gregory Aldrit. Currently, the Scottish, they are sitting only around 15 metres out from the try line. Ben White goes to the left-hand side. Now White stepping to Hugh Jones. Don't give Ramos kicks. Is there a better kicker? What do you mean? He's got like a whole heap of points for the French. And he's only like 4 points off being, I think it's their highest ever point scorer. What's the Scottish lineup? Says Russell. We will put it up on the screen. And speaking of Russell, he just passed it off to the right-hand side. And now France with the counter. Tell you what, that's the wrong lineup. There we go. Running it forward. And Maxime Luku goes across now. Short ball to Flamand, who was being almost tackled before he even had the ball in his hands. Bit of a juggle with the ball from Dave Cherry. The overall, the Scottish side is strong enough to get themselves the win. It's just whether or not they can do it in France. Honestly, would be a massive upset and kind of close to upset of the Six Nations, I would say. How good were the Italians? Yeah, doing really well, Italy. Right, as a knock-on, I meant Ramos is the best kicker. Okay, I get you. Maybe Ian Foster is a consideration for Wales. Says Mornay. And going to Scotland next week to see Munster versus Glasgow. And Hamish is still going. Aren't you tired, mate? Good morning from Brisbane. I am a bit sleepy, I will be honest. Been up a little while, but I'm doing all right. At the moment, I could be sleepier. It's probably the best way of putting it. I caught that. Robert says George. And also, that's crack up man, Scotland to win to crown England. Says Mr. Hall-in. Yeah, currently 10 minutes in and we have only had the 3 points scored so far. Galtier looking razor focused. Been watching Rocky Horror. Where has that been on? I have not, no. Honestly, I need to start watching some shows of some sort. Because every time someone makes like a reference to something, I have no idea what's going on. So I need classic movies, classic TV shows that I need to start rattling off. I've been following French Rugby Charisma, and they are heading towards rugby dominance in the not far future, says Derek. Hamish in holiday mode, says George, now passed on the outside to the left for the Scottish. They have got about a 30 kg disadvantage when it comes to scrum time. Did you get some sleep in between streams? I did not, no. I did a little bit of work and also just ended up messaging people. We have got there, Scotland, come on lads, says Blues Nate there. Is not doing the time warp again, says Big Rig Joe. Hamish played Hogwarts Legacy, that game's so chilled. Or play it. I have it, but I haven't actually played it yet. I've owned it for like a year. Oh, Biel Barry. Now, trying to sneak through on the wing. 2 men in the breakdown for Scotland. That must be close to their penalty. The ref says, I don't like you. We'll give it to France instead. Okay, you weren't on your feet, says Matthew Carley. He said that the knee of Jamie Ritchie touched the guy on the ground and was slightly resting. Maybe. Who's the referee for this match? It is Matthew Carley, but currently the territory is 73% in favour of the French, 61% possession. Right, we're going to see the replay here. So Biel Barry was tackled. Then from there, Jordan. I think he's been a little bit unlucky there looking at that one. Tom Jordan was at least not on the side of the French. That was a bit of an aerial battle. But the French now have got the possession. Jamie Ritchie's getting a wedgie from one of the French forwards. He won't enjoy that. Well, he might. I don't know what he's into. Now sitting 10 metres out from the line, the French still driving hard, and that's going to be the penalty advantage now in favour of the home team. It seems, look, they're not giving that one up, Scotland. That seems to be the tactic at the moment, is if they are going to lose that ball in the breakdown, or at least if they have the advantage against them, just hang on to it. Ooh. This is going to be a yellow card to Jamie Ritchie. So not only did he get a wedgie, now he has to go from the field. You're broadcasting a rugby match, says Val. In some regards, we are doing the commentary. Aloy Berreri is only 21, scary opponent for the future. Absolutely. Like, that man's still got, as long as, like, touch wood, no injuries, like, he's got a good 10, 15 years. And he's already scored so many tries for the French and has pure pace. The more Scotland get frustrated, the more likely they'll knuckle down and play rugby, says John. Yeah, that's the tricky part, isn't it? For them to really find their rhythm, normally they have to concede a try or two. But the problem is, that could happen in the next 10 minutes. Because they are down a man. Matthew Carley's got another penalty advantage in their favour. Now the ball is there. Oh, Biel Barhi almost got his timing wrong, trying to run back onside. Now Maxime Luku. Mofana goes across here. All intercepted for Duan van der Merwe. So they'll go back for the original penalty, which didn't get in a yellow card. So the yellow card did go against Scotland and against Jamie Ritchie. That's who ended up with it. Hamish said he might be late. All the Kiwi Pies made him slightly gassy, but he shouldn't worry. The brandy will settle everything nicely, says Xander. And Scotland use without Connor McLeod useless, says George. 13 minutes into this contest. Let's see whether or not the French can finally get through. And the wet conditions could play to our strength, says John. Yeah, it's a weird time to have a kickoff. 9 p.m. local is a bit later than we are used to seeing. Of course, in France, that has become a regular occurrence. All right, guys, I'm back. The England game was crazy. Yeah, England just kept going, didn't they? And a man down, wait for a France go. Says gunner time. That's going to be once again just short of the try line. I'm still saying Damien Pinot, first try scorer. And that's going to be now in the breakdown. And being able to clear that ball, so it does make it now a scrum for the Scottish. A way of adverts during commentary, says Moses. I think that's just YouTube, how they place them on the streams. I honestly don't know how everything works. I just go live and we're monetized. So, yeah, I think YouTube just choose when they want to stick in an ad. I live in France and I cannot stand this late fixture, says Gunner Time. Duan van der Merwe, first try, says Robert. And sorry, I missed it. I was still laughing out loud with the wedgie comment. What was the yellow for? So, pretty much, the gist of it was, I think it was drag down, breakdown. Or drag down, rolling maul, I should say. Peter Parker has returned from the Spider-Verse. Hamish is the closest is a closet Kardashians fan. It's okay, Hamish. You can come out now. I think George likes the Kardashians, but you can probably work out why he likes them. Now 15 minutes into this contest. And that's going to go down. Who's wedgie? Yeah, Jamie Ritchie got a wedgie, then got a yellow card. So, not a good moment for that man. Right, referee's saying we need a little bit more height. And France will win, says Julian Moses. And more likely to find a baguette under a Scottish kilt, says John. It's windy and cold, sea breeze here. Yeah, I think I saw it was 6 degrees Celsius, which is pretty brutal for a game of rugby. The fingers will be freezing up for the teams. And these type of conditions, sometimes the injury count can get a little bit higher. My superhero name would be I'm with Stupid, says George. And what's the difference between a try with a kick, penalty goal, or a drop goal? Okay, so a try with a kick would be 7 points. Penalty goal is 3. Drop goal is also 3. So, yeah, your try is the most rewarding amount of points that you can get, and that is 5. And then with the conversion, you get the extra 2. And here comes Ramos. Yeah, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Try playing football in Green Bay, Wisconsin in the winter. Yeah, I think you guys get into the minuses, don't you? Now, Going across to the right. Ramanintamak. It's the knee down. Tom Jordan tried to hold him up. High from Cornwall in the UK, says Joseph Smith. Welcome in, mate. Antonio had an elephant between two bread vans for lunch, says Calmac. Yeah, he's a big boy. Oh, you, Antonio. 17 minutes in at the moment. I think France, honestly, there's another advantage in their favour. Now Galfiku going through, gives it to Mo Fana, who will reach out and scores the first try of the Constants. Or the Constants? What is that? I think I was reading out some of the comments and got myself confused. Of the match. The Constants. What even is a Constance? Minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we have got there, should Scotland win by a margin or anyone? Will England victory? Yeah, so pretty much if England, with where they're sitting, all they need is for Scotland to win this game. If France win it, then they've guaranteed the Six Nations. French centre smashing here. Mo Fana, he's looked very strong. Almost on season 4 of the Kardashians after about 19 years of effort. That is, I mean, you're in it for the long haul. But, yeah, I don't think I would be able to get into the show. I'm not really a reality TV type of bloke. In fact, I don't watch a lot of anything, really, as you guys know. How are you, sir? Says Nasoni. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hope Fiji doing well too. Of course, it is the morning for yourself. Contest says to be. So that was the word that we were after. Can you run with the ball and then kick it through the uprights? So if you're running with the ball, you can drop kick it over the uprights. So that would be, I guess, the equivalent in a way. But like, I mean, theoretically, you could kick it up and over the post and then score it. If you really wanted to. I don't think it's against the law. Got to be better than a Marmite baguette. I can't give my support to England, so I'm back in the Frenchies. And France have the cup firmly in one hand right now, says Robert. Yeah, certainly Scotland need to score the next try. Because if they are unable to do so, then they might be unable to get back into this game. Kicked long. Does end up going into touch. It's actually quite cool. Now, no sweating under the duvet, says Ruth. Maxime Luku, though, big shoes to fill of Antoine Dupont, although I'm not sure of his foot size. But, yeah, a lot of pressure in that number 9 jersey. But honestly, Luku is a very talented player. Why can't we see the live game? Due to it being illegal. So pretty much copyright infringement if I show any match footage or audio. There are ways of watching this game for free, though, depending on what country you're in. Depends on what options you've got. So I would recommend definitely checking out the Six Nations website. Come on, Scotland, get a grip. See, here's John. Now, Jave Cherry. Rolling this one up towards the halfway line. Now, kicked high. Darcy Graham or Biel Paré doesn't take it cleanly. And Scotland now have possession and the penalty. And a try is the best idea. Do you get points every time you kick it through the uprights? So that's the equivalent of how you get your penalty or conversion points, is by kicking it through. So every time you score, you do get a chance at taking a kick at the post. Now, I think Ben White has said he's been hit in the nose here. He's getting picked up by Jean-Baptiste Grue, who's telling him stop playing around. And it seems like, I think that's 3 games in a row we've had a little bit of push and shoving. Islanders were so close. It should have been a penalty, I reckon. Says Max, and France have this, says Kevin. That's a strong accent from the touch judge. So I think what they are saying here is it is the penalty to France, but there might have been a little bit of afters that, depending on who started it, could maybe end up changing this. Oh, it's only after a try. I thought you could do it whenever. Or the conversion you can only take after a try. The penalty you can take when you've won a penalty. And then the drop kick's just any stage of the match that you want to go for it. But of course you want to be kind of close so that you can get it far enough. Right. They're going upstairs now to check this one. Started by Scotland. I've just heard there was a push. I suck at some accents. You guys probably didn't even know which one that was supposed to be. But they're just going to be checking this one. So, yeah, so Ramos pushes White over. Oh, Malvaca does go in with a bit of a headbutt to him. Like, that honestly could be something. I know that I mentioned how Ben White seemed like he was milking it a little bit, but Malvaca cannot charge at him and give him a flying headbutt. Like, that's normally not allowed in anything. Yeah, that's quite dumb from Malvaca, because that's going to be upgraded from being a penalty to France to a penalty to Scotland, and more than likely a yellow card here for his stupidity. Right. They're issuing a yellow card. They're just looking at the last angle. So yeah, Ben White's been pushed over by Ramos. Then from there, Malvaca's come in. Yeah, that's a pretty dirty play from Malvaca. Normally, I mean, yes, he plays with a bit of aggression, but that's pretty rough. Right. The decision. So 15 blue push. So initially that was probably going to reverse the penalty anyway. So it's a yellow card and a review. Rugby players doing stupid stuff off the ball. Never, says Neil. Yeah, it happens in the big games though. Something, I don't know whether or not they just have a brain fade, but Malvaca, he's talking to the touch judge as if to say, what did I do? Well, you gave someone a headbutt who didn't have the ball. Right, Scotland taking the 3. I'm not sure about that. Like, I get it, because they've still got 90 seconds left of their own yellow card, but at the same time, you've got France in a little bit of trouble. Testosterone, says Neil, and yeah, like, your adrenaline's going, but, I mean, I don't know whether or not, like, the reflex is, right, he's kind of pushed me a bit. Well, in fact, I don't even think he pushed him. He just made the tackle on him. So he tackled me, so I'm going to give him a flying headbutt. That'll teach him. But now, unfortunately for Malvaca, he might find himself off the field for more than just the 10 minutes. We'll have to wait and see what the bunker decides for that. And shocked from Malvaca. Yeah, like, normally just such a competitor. And I haven't seen him do anything like that before. Makes no sense why experienced players still make these dumb infractions, says Gunner. Now 30 seconds left of the Jamie Ritchie yellow card. There's probably more to that. Lots of stuff happens in the background, says Neil. Yeah, like maybe it was a breakdown earlier on that happened, but yeah, you're still not really supposed to give people headbutts if you can avoid it. Now Ramos kicking this one high, down towards the Scottish 22. Finn Russell doesn't take it cleanly. Maxime Luku grubbers it forward. Oh, he hasn't scored it. Ben White somehow managed to stop the try from being scored. They're saying it's taken back by the Scottish. Oh, it's knocked on by Maxime Luku first. This will be a 5-metre scrum for Scotland, or at least it should be. You can protect the head, not the helmet. When you're awarding a penalty, do you have to, or when you are awarding a penalty, do you have to convert it? Can you go for touch and then the try? You can go for, or it depends, because if you've called for the post, you're not allowed to then change your mind. That's something that we've learnt from a few games recently, where we've seen it actually in full effect. The guys are twice the size. The linesmen are 350 plus pounds. Not bad surviving the 10 minutes, says John. Yeah, overall, I think they'll say it wasn't terrible. Right. So Pinot's coming off. That is for Julien Marchand. Come on. The crazy thing is, right, if it's upgraded to a red and Pietro Malvaca is off the field, it means that if Julien Marchand gets injured, France will have uncontested scrums. and be playing with a man disadvantage. So it's a pretty big moment to do something like that early on in the contest. Jamie will be chopping at the bit. To work now, says John. And Ben White to be upgraded to goalkeeper, says Calmac. It was a very good save. The scrum is actually going to be a 5-metre one for the French. I did think Luku knocked it on initially, and then White tried to slap it back. But now only a few metres out from the line, Moafana. They have to release him, but he was getting ever so closer to the try line. Jean-Baptiste Grue. Tackled by Matt Fagerson. Tries to get onto the ball. Had a decent old crack at it, but wasn't quite able to pull it off. Now a new advantage. Going against the Scottish. They have to be careful not to end up with another yellow card here. Now we have got their American buddy wearing large rugby headgears. Over their helmet says Blues name, but that is going to be another penalty. Going the way of the French for the offside. Right. What is the verdict here? Was that at least a warning? Okay, they are going to take the 3 here. And that is just going to be to use up a little bit more of the clock time of their yellow. I'm going to say yellow for now because it could change. But okay, I think the Scottish commentator just saying there that the tackle was made. So then Scotland are told to release, and then the French player made probably about 4 more metres afterwards. What's the situation on the trophy? French win here equals Six Nations champs? Yep. So pretty much the way that it sits, I haven't got the updated table, but this was how it sat after Ireland versus Italy. So pretty much England are in first at the moment on 20. Points differential won't really come into it because they are that far clear, the French, that all they need is a win, even without a bonus point, and they will be Six Nations champions. But that one has gone over. Again, Hamish, I tuned in, was busy serving room, who got the yellow. So we're seeing a yellow for Jamie Ritchie and also Pietro Malvaca, who we're still awaiting to find out whether or not he is going to be through to that red. We have got their done personal best 140 kg lift today. Though I was going to have a heart attack lifting, says Patrick. So be sure not to injure yourself from lifting too heavy too quickly. Just build up to it, I would recommend. Which makes me sound like I go to the gym. I don't. Our gym almost burnt down. Like the town's gym. Can we make a poll if Hamish is going to wear a suit or TV shirt? Says Ander. I mean, we've already got the answer though. We got the shirt on. One's gone into touch. Nice clearing kick again from was Maxime Luku. And France has scored with 14 men. You see, they're such a dangerous side that even without one man on the field, they can still have that impact. Dave Cherry now, ready to throw the ball in. Grant Gilchrist, nicely taken, gives it off to Skurman. Dave Cherry. Ben White, try. Oh, that was a tackle off the ball. But they're going back for the initial penalty at Rolling Mall anyway. Have we go there, thanks, says Bruce. Was it overcrowded? Says Lilia B. Was it overcrowded? What was overcrowded? And we have good there. Are you doing the Women's Six Nations, Hamish? Says Luan. Honestly, I hadn't even thought about it yet. I don't even know when the Women's Six Nations was going to be on. Is it next week that that's going to be starting up? If it doesn't overlap with the URC, we'll try and maybe do 1 or 2 of the games. We've never actually covered the Women's Six Nations before, but going towards that Women's Rugby World Cup. Okay. The yellow card will remain as a yellow card because the danger was not high. Now, you know, the intent was there, wasn't it? So he's probably a bit lucky to only have a yellow in this case. But Jamie Ritchie now looking for the rolling maul for Scotland. And this year it seems yellow cards don't have the impact they used to. Is it increased fitness or just game management? I'd say it's probably a little bit of both. But also, like, a lot of sides now train in scenarios where they are playing with less men on the field just because Like, cards have become so often that you have to be prepared for it. Oh, the one from the Merva, almost getting driven into touch, so he has to keep the ball alive, going on the inside to Matt Fagerson. Yellow to remain yellow, that's a bad decision. Says Cal Mack. Now we over there, refs don't normally look at intent anymore. Says Neil. Yeah, it's all about the contact, isn't it? It's like if you flip a guy on his head. As long as he lands safely, you're only a yellow rather than a red. Even if you've literally said 5 seconds before, I'm going to flip him on his head. They still go, but you didn't mean it. Timo got his paycheck. Says Blues Nate. That was a bad hit, but oh, nice run from Darcy Graham. Somehow stays on his feet. Almost fell forward, but gets his centre of gravity. It's pretty low. And manages to get the try. That's the outcome, yeah, says Neil. And I don't want France or England to lift the trophy, but I guess I want Scotland to win here. Therefore, England taking it, says Tony. And they have got themselves well and truly back into the game now, Scotland. Please say hi to my wife, Jolene Rizzo, as well. So shout out to you, Jolene, as well as Andreas as well. And game on, says John. And you eat answer, says Cal Mack, and rather France than England any day, says Luan. Now, lining up this kick and does get it over for Russell, so that'll make the score now 13 points to 10. Hamish, do the Kiwi Pies unsettle the tummy? But after you took a brandy, everything settled back normal again? Says Ander, have you got some sort of like sponsorship deal with brandy? Because like you're really pushing that today. So like maybe you got like a promo code, do you? And we're going to come on front, says Cameron. And there it is, the Claymore kicks. Says Blues Nate. Claymore that Drew McIntyre would be proud of. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. And Crusaders look frail on defence, says Neil. Time for the Highland charge, says John. 3 points separating these two sides at the moment. How many time left? We've still got another 10 minutes of the first half and then, of course, the second. But if you're talking about the yellow card, still another 40 seconds that Malvaka will be off the field. Now, Kinghorn has got the ball in hand, tries to go for the kick, but it is going to be charged down. Is that offside for Interback? Yeah, it is. Was offside by a few metres. So I believe he wasn't the one who charged it down, which meant he wasn't allowed to try and grab that ball. There's a big yawn. We are currently sitting 9:38 a.m. New Zealand time, but we did do the all-night shift. Doing as many streams as we could. Or as we could, I should say. Okay, the commentators are just saying it's lucky Malvaka doesn't have a good headbutt on him, or else he would have got a red. So they're pretty much trash-talking his accuracy. Saying if you're going to headbutt someone, you've got to make sure you actually do a good job. But in this case, it's good that he didn't do a good job because he's coming back. Wait, there are penalties in rugby, says Total Guerra. There are indeed. So that can be for offside, for a high tackle, for obstruction, for many, many things, to be honest. But they normally don't take very long. That's going to be kicked in a touch by the French. Now, Damien Pinot makes his way back onto the field. For those who are confused, he came off for Julien Marchand to come on. So that's where that side of things has come from. Oh, a lot of blowing of the referee. Or, sorry. A lot of blowing of the whistle by the referee. There we go. That's what we meant. Couldn't have sounded worse if we tried. France must be careful. I say we'll lose this match, says Monet Lagrange. Reckon RKO should be allowed in rugby, says Max. Be an interesting one. This game is going to be epic, says Jared. And already flying by Scotland. They're going to try and take the lead before the halftime break. Ben White goes across to the left-hand side. Ben Russell looping around. Oh, drop ball for Galfiku. Decent attempt at trying to catch it. So it will just be the scrum. He's getting tired slurring those words, says Neil. And they even give tries without the ball touching the ground, says John. Now, he spiced a couple kilos biltong today. Now we need to wait 3 days for it to dry. Time is never one's friend, says Xander. And shocking decision. That was a red and a half. Yeah, so pretty much the reason that they haven't given it as a red is because he didn't connect properly. So what they're saying there is you can throw a punch at a player, but as long as you only slightly chip the chin, rather than actually full on cracking him, you'll probably get a yellow. It's an interesting way of looking at it that they've gone yellow. We have the RKO out of nowhere from Darcy Graham. Says Max, who blew the ref. PG-13, please, Hamish. You have offended yourself. Says RIP, front row's going down in the scrum. I wish I could watch this match. Scoreline speaks volumes. Whereabouts in the world are you, Derek? I would assume with the last name like Ndlovu, maybe, I want to say South Africa, but I also don't want to get it completely wrong. Go here. Hopefully I'll be able to find the where to watch section for you. So broadcasters, in England it's on ITV. Global broadcasters, where are they on the list? Countries, Africa, maybe. So it's on SuperSport in South Africa, but I would assume you possibly don't have SuperSport if you are here, unless you are also watching it alongside maybe. But if you have got a VPN, it could be a good option. That's going to be a nice pass on the outside to Blair Kinghorn, and the Scottish moving within 10 metres again. Where to watch is a great site, says Scooby. And so the blow wasn't hard enough to make it a red. Pretty much, yeah. They've said the inaccuracy of the headbutt was the reason he didn't get a red card, not the fact that he tried to headbutt a bloke. Now Ben White, searching for this ball in the breakdown, gives it off to Grant Gilchrist. Couple metres for him. Now Hugh Jones. That's the tactic at the moment from France, is if Scotland try and use their backline, rush someone up to try and get that interception. And that's making them a little bit more hesitant on attack here, Scotland. Now Ben White goes off to Pierre Skurman, bumps out of the challenge of Pieter Malwaka. Now White goes across Finn Russell. And now Scotland finding their feet, says John. Yeah, it's as if they just needed that first 20 minutes to kind of find their rhythm, perhaps even needed that yellow card to get them moving in the right direction. Now White going to the right-hand side again here. Carry from Gregor Brown. Now back to the right. Finn Russell. There's going to be the penalty advantage in his favour. Oh. Now, Xander Ferguson. Tackled by Yui Antonio in South Africa. DSTV, channel 211. Don't talk bad about John Cena. Aren't we supposed to though, since now he's supposed to be a bad guy? Now Richie goes across to Grant Gilchrist. The tongue's getting in all the wrong spots at the moment. Right, this sounds like it might be a yellow card for the French after repeat infringements here. This game is becoming interesting. You are a shoal, says Ryona. You haven't spelt it right. You won't be banned. You can put the actual word. We're not 5. Let's use grown-up swearing. But sounds like there's going to be a head collision here. So tell me, Hamish, if you don't watch Rush Hour, what movies do you watch? Not a lot. To be honest, I tackle on Ferguson, says Cal Mack. Right, this is going to be a yellow card. And that looks like it's going to be against Jean-Baptiste Grue. So that's not a good one. For the French, they are going to be down again. Your vocabulary is epic today, says Lilia B. We have there Scotland doing well, though. Where's this ref from again? He is he's English. I don't know why, but that just seemed like a moment of importance there, depending on the outcome of this game. It looks like they are going to take on the 3 points here, Scotland. And another yellow piling up, says Cal Mack. And we have got both this and Ireland game at English refs, says Big Rig Joe. Do you have a favourite movie? I used to quite like Hotel Transylvania when I was a bit younger. But I don't know why. A great game of rugby so far, says Rugby Itch. Yes, been back and forth. If you want to come on for a bit of a chat at half time, Tim, if you're keen, let me know. I'll flick you an invite. 4 minutes still left in this first half. Roman Intermac Kicking this one off for the French. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Never seen it. If I'm being honest, we have got the donation from Kevin Layla as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. And yeah, thought I saw some Sage Wales or someone say no England. And Can Do says Rugby itch and nerves to get into France, says Cal Mac, and Facts says Total Guerra. And I love Once We're Warriors, says Scooby. Now sitting about 25 metres out from the line here for the French. Flamand, driven backwards. I thought WWE moves were okay. Well, the clothesline's not recommended in rugby. Used to be a little bit more common. Like, people used to just go swing an arm across the forehead. And that was just to say, how are you? Now Raman into Mac. Gone across to Morfana, who's been very busy throughout this contest so far. Oh, they're trying to hold him up rather than it being a maul. When you go for the intercept and it touches your hand, it's a yellow card. But if it's touched your head, it's fine. Like in the previous England versus Wales game. Yeah, so pretty much if you're hitting it with your head, I am a little bit surprised we haven't seen more guys going for flying headbutts of the ball. But then, like, you'd think if you're going to go through all the effort of trying to go for a flying headbutt of the ball, you might as well just put your hands up and catch it. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. Sometimes it's just down to referee interpretation again. We are going to see here that the French have got themselves the penalty and they are looking to take on 3 points now. What I'll quickly do is go like that and go like that as well. We will send Tim the thing while the French are lining up this kick, and this will give them the lead in this contest just before the halftime break. A moment, we got to spell his name right. There we go. How much did you watch? You. That movie will get you going. Get me going in what way? Like in an excited way or in a different kind of way? Caleb Intercepted was amazing on Friday night. Says Max Scottle. Of course, that is Caleb Tungi Tau. There you are speaking about. Now, 1 minute remaining in this first half. Currently sitting in favour of the French. Have you seen Inception, Amish? It's about Matt Damon in the Springbok jersey. I have not, no. I can't actually think of a Matt Damon movie that I've seen. What movies is Matt Damon in? He's in like a whole... Oh, he's in the Bourne movies, isn't he? I haven't seen them, unfortunately. I watched Training Day, great movie. Says Total Guerra. We were robbed. That high shot was dirty, says Max. And I watched from Italy. You are the only commentary we can access. Thank you, says Ewan Roberts. Well, I do appreciate you being here. We do cover a lot of international rugby. Also, alongside that, the URC, Super Rugby, and the Sevens we've been doing on the channel too. What about Team America World Police? I have not seen it. Although I think that's the one with the bloke who does like noises, isn't it? If I'm correct. Oh, beautiful run down the short side from Ben White. Sits up for Damien Pinot. Scotland is here to play, says Jared. Yeah, they've been competitive throughout this first half. Only 8 seconds remaining. Looks like Scotland are going to have one last crack at the line. And Blair Kinghorn goes straight through. Pace on the outside. Just slips over. And he also was extremely close to being in touch. But now, Matt Fagerson. Can Scotland take the lead going into half-time here? Grant Gilchrist. Only a few metres out. Ben White goes to Finn Russell. Passes across one more. Missed tackle on Hugh Jones, who will score the try. In fact, it's Tom Jordan. The way he ran through there, you're normally used to seeing that physicality from man on the outside, Jones. But Jordan's showing he has got it too. Game on, says all in the game. Scent of a woman, says Marwan. It's a joke of the past years if Australia beat the British and Irish Lions this year. And the Tour of Australia, we've got the channel member from Kevin Layla too. And we have got there from Cameron. And Nite. Springboks the final go. All Black's the final loss, says Blues Nate. Right, so the time will be up. Gaultier looking very frustrated. Do you have movie theatres in your town? We have one movie theatre. What's your name, bro? My name is Hamish. Which sounds very Scottish, but I can tell you right now it wasn't because of, like, anything. Oh, what are they checking now? They're going to check to see whether he's out. He is in touch. It's going to be no try. Finn Russell smiles. He knows that one, they've really had to look for every inch. Now, he did look close to the sideline anyway. But how about we get it at the time? We had one in the Irish versus Italy game that wasn't in touch, that they called as touch even after seeing the replay. So hopefully we get a replay. We haven't actually seen him in touch as of yet. Do we get to see it? I assume we do. Inception is the movie about Dream, as in the rugby movie about The Incredibles. And we have got there, I'm Scottish. But I don't want us to win because if we do, England gets the Six Nations. And Star Wars greatest movie ever. Which one? So there are 6, or in fact there's more than 6 now, isn't there? That's about Hamish. That is the one, yes. So TMO is a fair procedure after all. Oh, where's the replay? I mean, we're going to have to go back and, of course, look at this one and make sure that he was out. It did look close. Let's be honest. He was right on the verge of it. We're going in slow motion. Did the knee touch the sideline? The touch judge never put his flag up, though. Carl Dixon was chilling. He went, no, it's okay. And then they went back and disallowed it. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a guest for halftime where we'll be able to talk all about that moment, of course, that we have just seen. But, ladies and gents, some of you will know him as Rugby Itch. Some of you will know him as Tim. Some of you will know him as that guy who's got a really hard accent to work out where he actually is from. Here he is, ladies and gents. Hello, Tim. You're down there because that was the only layout that I had that kind of
like the layout.
Yeah. So where are you from, Tim?
Oh, we have to go through this again. My word. Well, you know,
it saves us getting asked, doesn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. Born and raised Hong Kong. Mom's American, dad's from Zimbabwe. Have an Irish and American passport. There you go. That's it.
There you go.
Currently in Manchester, England.
Yeah, just to mix it up a little bit. Tim, what do you think of the disallowed try at the end of that half, mate?
It was a bit strange just because, like, they didn't actually show. I mean, it's kind of like what you said. Like, they didn't actually the touchline kind of just allowed it to play on, and then of course they're like, nope, sorry, actually that's not allowed of a not a try. So I was kind of like, okay, come on, like, because Scotland had a lot of momentum actually going into this game, and actually I thought they deserved to actually go into the half actually winning this, because also like that France, like, I mean, like it's not a stupid play, but it's just more like Movaka didn't have to do that kind of thing on Ben White there. Like they won the penalty anyway, so I was just a bit surprised by that. But yeah. But yeah, that definitely changed the momentum of the game, and of course that's where, you know, Scotland been able to kind of capitalize.
And also France still have a yellow card for another probably 5 minutes or so. So that is another factor that Scotland can use to their advantage. I just looked at the replay, like it is close, but something on the far side of the field would have been quite nice in the replay. You know, definitely if it's been the TMO who said, hey, by the way, this has happened. You know, like yeah, very interesting one. Southern Hemisphere equals upside down land, says Total Guerra. Imagine that. Imagine we are just upside down at the moment. And I am upside down. You are, of course, the right way up. Is this a stitch up, lad? Says Alan. Are we talking about the Scottish disallowed try?
Yeah.
Because, it's interesting, to say the very least. But let's see what happens in the second half. Maybe it's going to end up getting a little bit smoother, because this one has been a little bit stop-start, hasn't it, so far, compared to a couple of the other games?
Yeah, but I like that, actually. I like that because it means that, like, it's also that the players are going to get the rest a bit while these kind of, well, I guess while these scrums take place and all that. And I feel like, I mean, Scotland, at least to their credit, like, they've made this game interesting. Like, it's one of those, like, where I would have hated kind of in a way this game was just kind of like, you know, the game was done at the half. But no, they're actually only, you can see it, only 3 points behind here. So I think that they got an opportunity here. If they beat them, like, it's kind of weird. I'm kind of cheering for Scotland in this game in a way because I want them to kind of win this. But at the same time, I'm like, but if they win, it means England win the whole thing. I'm like, it doesn't feel right. So,
England have just been the dark horse of the Six Nations haven't they?
Yeah.
If they do end up winning, and they actually beat the French, the only side to be able to to do so, unless the Scottish also get the win.
That was probably the best. That was probably the best game, I would say, the Six Nations. Like, because I've been like, you can say yes, the France Ireland game in terms of like how dominant the French were over the Irish, but as an overall game in terms of both teams, I mean, yes, we know the French obviously missed their opportunities in that game, but I think that was still the most entertaining game. So
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of, I mean, England deserve, honestly, to finish second for what I've seen so far. Because I think Ireland just haven't been the same team for what we've seen throughout the last kind of few years. So, yeah, credit to England. They've played very well throughout this Six Nations.
So in terms of what you've seen in this game, because France, don't get me wrong, they've been pretty strong, but they haven't quite had that same type of game that they had last week up against Ireland. What do you think they need to do in terms of minor adjustments? Like, we're going to get some stats here for you as well. The probability is 81% in favour of the French for being able to win this game, but we've seen around the same attacking minutes. The Scottish have had more metres carried. They've had 10 more defenders beaten, so France's defence may be getting cut through a little bit more often than we are used to seeing, and also that discipline seems to be a bit of a problem at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Scotland have been also pretty good within the breakdown as well. I mean, that's the other thing, that they've been able to kind of survive on the line a few times, like, from a defensive point of view as well. So, yeah, they've definitely looked pretty good there. They've definitely looked pretty good. The French, they just got to be. They got to kind of get there. I mean, Gabin Gautier on the sideline could have just crossed with the. So I do expect them to come out with some words to them, like, guys, what are you doing? Like, step up a level. So I kind of do expect them to kind of go up a level in the second half. But hey, if Scotland can keep up the momentum, then we have a game in our hands. So I'm looking forward to it.
Not sure what happened, Tim, but you turned into a microphone in a fishbowl there, but we still got every word. You, of course, mentioned.
Oh, can you all hear me?
Oh, no, now we can hear you completely fine. I don't know what happened there, but.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll put my mic here closer to me if that's, I'll do this. Here we go, guys.
Don't go right in here, this ain't an ASMR channel, Tim, but yeah, it'll be a very interesting second half because France, I think, will be fired up after getting that yellow, and this is a little bit of a reprieve from what could have been, not so much a disastrous scoreline, but it certainly wasn't in the plans for them to be down at halftime had Scotland scored that. So we're going to go, what's your full-time prediction, Tim? Can Scotland do it? Can they cause the upset? We're in France as well, we've got to remember.
Exactly.
Stade de France.
I think Scotland have done well, but the reason for that, unfortunately, is because France have been down a man at times, and that comes down towards their own discipline. So if France do continue, with their discipline not being so well, then, and of course getting that yellow card in that, then I can definitely see Scotland take advantage of that, because they've done very well, like you said, to break the lines of this French defense. But do I think that'll happen throughout the second half as often? I don't think so. So I do think the French will eventually win this game. I think they'll win it I think they'll score at least 2 more tries in the second half here. I can definitely see Scotland getting I can see them getting the first penalty in this game, because I've always said this even throughout my Super Rugby scenes live streams, that whoever gets the first points in the second half, it gives them the chance to kind of swing the momentum. So if Scotland can get the first points in the second half here, then they could be onto something. But we'll have to wait and see. But I am edging towards France.
Alrighty, I'm gonna be different. As you know, I'm always trying to be a little bit on the fence.
That's good.
But I honestly think that Scotland, if France's discipline stays the way that it is, Scotland should be able to just slowly close out. But it sounds really awful to say, and I hope it's not the decider, but I do actually think that there's going to be still more controversy throughout the second half.
Okay.
And I really hope it's not what ends up winning France the Six Nations. I hope that it is a clean, like you said, couple more tries, win it by 10 or something like that. That would be all right. But if this one's split and then a last-minute penalty goes the way that it shouldn't,
oh gosh, that'd be a heartbreaker.
It's going to be bad. The scoreboard's disappeared. What has happened there?
You don't have a score now.
What does it say? Not enough memory to open this page. What do you mean?
That's a first. I've never seen that before.
Not enough memory.
Maybe because I'm on here. Maybe you need your memory to come back in there. I don't know if that's the way it works, but
I don't know. But of course, we'll of course get it back at some point.
Either way, just last thing before I go here, I would be cool to see if Louis Villeray can get a try, because if he does, he'll break the record for the most tries in a Six Nations campaign, because he'll overtake Jacob Stockdale. So that would be pretty impressive if he can do that.
That's a good point, because I know that they had like a page where they had all the tallies. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Wait, that's now Italy. Wait, no, is it? Okay, I put up the wrong scoreboard. Yeah, it will be a very interesting one because Stockdale didn't get a lot of credit in one of the old tallies that I saw. Like they showed the last time that someone has scored as many tries as Belbari was like 2013.
Yeah,
and I was thinking, no, you've just skipped the Stockdale era where he was able to have a great one. The ratio of Tim versus Hamish is doing Tim duty. It actually is, and I have to thoroughly apologise for it. Don't do that. but yeah, it's just the layout. Like the other,
it's just the layout, guys.
Was
I actually like this layout. I honestly like the layout better. I actually like the layout better. Yeah, I mean, this just like
this. That's actually good.
Ooh.
That's actually not bad.
Honestly, that's pretty good. Actually, that is another good layout.
Nice.
Honestly, that's probably better than the first one.
I think so.
But the question is, that people be like, wait, who's the team though? Like, who's leading?
True.
Like, wait, so who's winning this game? Oh, okay, so guys, I'm Scotland for this instance. Hamish is France. So
yeah, I think we're going to go back to this one just for now. But Tim, greatly appreciate you tuning in.
Of course,
perhaps we will see you around full time, depending on if there's controversy.
Yeah, we'll see
along those lines.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, be sure to also check out Rugby Itch's YouTube channel, ladies and gents. Anyone who hasn't already, I saw that the link was there in the chat before.
Indeed. Yeah, cheers, guys.
Let's hope for a good second half.
Yep.
Which is not a mile away.
We
will see you later on.
See you guys shortly.
Right, if I click this button and if I go like that, there we go. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Half time, somehow the scoreboard decided there wasn't enough memory to stay scoreboarding. But second half, not a mile off. Home and away to avoid losses because both teams are damn good, says DMK. I did see earlier on, you did say about the over 35 points in this contest, so you probably have a decent crack at that being correct. You all talk crap, see you in 20, says Steve. Why 20 minutes? They'll be like 15 minutes through the half. I may ask not to be clinched any tighter. Welcome in, Kerr. That's quite the message to have you coming in on. But, yeah, close game, Scotland almost having that lead. I hope that they show a replay of that far angle in the second half, just so that it can slightly, like, calm some people's minds. Because at the end of the day, it was very close to the sideline. And all you have to do, I'm leaving you to go to Rugby Itch, Hamish. Told me about how much cooler he is. Says RIP. He is a very cool individual, cool, calm, collected customer, is a Rugby Itch. And now memory is back when Tim left, says Johannes. And we have got there, no more misbehaving by France, says Matthew. And yeah, that could be a big factor in this game. The more penalties France give away in the second half, the more likely they will be down to 14. Again, they've already been down to 14 twice in this contest. Just for anyone who is curious, though, France, if they win this game, they win the Six Nations. Scotland, if they win this game, England win the Six Nations, as well as the Kolkata Cup, which they were able to win up against the Scottish. So there's a bit on the line here. It will not be taking anything lightly for Scotland in the second 40 minutes. Hello all, says Kerr. Welcome in, mate. And of course, we did see about your, well, we didn't see it, but we heard about your clenched backside before. The last time I've seen Tim was at your cousin's wedding. Yeah, he did do the Six Nations first round for us. So it's actually kind of cool in a way. Like, I hadn't even thought about it, but the fact that he covered for us in that first round when I was away, and now we got him back on for the final live stream of the Six Nations. That's kind of like a nice full circle kind of moment. But yeah, of course, be sure to check out his channel, ladies and gents, if you haven't already. We're probably in about 50 videos, if not more, over on that channel. Oh, maybe not 50, but we're getting up there in terms of numbers. And we have got there, Scotland still playing for the world rankings. Says Cal Mack and shoulder to shoulder on the last day, Kerr. Says Jimbo. And we have got there as well, Kerr, do you also have a wedgie? I mean, Jamie Ritchie did when he got his yellow card after being picked up in that mall, but I'm nervous for the second half. I feel so loved today. Thank you all. Actually, had a really bad couple of days. It just made me smile, so thank you, Kiwi Lads community, says Kerr. So I am glad that you are doing a lot better, Kerr. But yeah, hopefully Scotland can pull through for you. At the end of the day, these boys are in it, and they want to cause the upset. England want them to cause the upset. I think even I'll tell you what, I can't think of a team in the Six Nations at the moment, with the exception of maybe Italy, because I don't speak Italian. It seems like every single other side is backing Scotland here. because and then Wales is just sitting at the bottom, but I think they'd still want the Scottish to win. But yeah, honestly, like, it seems like everyone has gone from against Ireland to against France. I know, but then England will win. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for the Scots, unfortunately, but yeah, it will be an interesting one. And when they start in the second half, they are making their way out onto the field now. You're joking, Amish, says Jimbo. No. Like, so many people have come together for the Scottish. I realise I could be wrong, but a week before the Six Nations started, I specifically asked you to try and remember that I predict England to win. If wrong, I came close, says Robert. And always hating on the best teams, says 9HD. Yeah, it always seems to be, if you're in number one, everyone wants to knock you down. Like someone said there, tall poppy syndrome. Back in France to win this contest is Monet Lagrange. And it's therapeutic being here, says Lilia B. Yeah, we always, like, we've got people from all around the world who just love watching rugby, love having a bit of a chat. There's plenty of banter that goes on. I don't sound very cool when I say the word banter, although I think there's a few words I don't sound very cool while saying. Do one try and scum and try and I'll be happy, says Tony. And to be fair, England have done well the Six Nations. Don't anyone dare screenshot that, says Kerr. So rather than screenshotting it, we'll just show you the English path. There we go. That's what England have done the Six Nations. Honestly, like, with the exception of losing to the Irish in the first round, beating France, beating Scotland by 1, like, they've had a hard, gritty, grindy type of competition. And what happened in that England-Ireland game? Was there any controversy in that, or was it just a clean win? For some reason, I can't help but think that something happened later on in that game that England almost scored, or something along those lines. We have there, come on Scotland, last 40 minutes wins. And come on Scotland, says JJ, I'm in Honduras today, says Kerr. So you're definitely covering plenty of ground at the moment. Dave Cherry. Throwing that ball in, nicely taken. Ben White goes back across Finn Russell. Scotland, if they want a chance of winning this game, they have to score first. I feel like that is almost compulsory. Nice run from Darcy Graham. Can't get through Maxime Luku. And we have there, come on, Scotland, last 40-minute wins. Says Blues, then I hope Scotland wins so England win the Six Nations 2025, says Gary Lee's wife. Now the mark is called by Thomas Ramos. And England dominated for a lot of the Ireland game and scored too late. Oh, yeah, that's right. They got the late comeback, didn't they? But didn't quite get enough. Finn Russell. Now Kinghorn. Going to try and find a gap in this French defence. They are just saying he does actually play against a lot of these French players and also alongside a few, with him being at Toulouse. Now Finn Russell with the inside ball goes to Darcy Graham, passes off to Matt Fagerson. Offloaded to Graham again. Good tackle. I think France will take it in the 10 minutes. I would give this very good Scottish side a great confidence, or boost of confidence, whatever the English sequence, says C. And Froggy here, good evening all, says Chris Ace. Van der Merwe hardly had the ball throughout this contest. Normally goes searching for work in this case, but in this game I think he's too worried about going off his wing just in case. They then go for that counter-attack, little chip in behind from Hugh Jones going shoulder to shoulder. Now White, Scotland have the ball again. Finn Russell, he's trying to run fast. That's something you don't see too often. Normally just a light jog, but the ball is loose. Dropped by the Scottish. And now it's going to be the foot race. Ball off to Biel Barhi. And he will get the try that puts them as the highest scorer of the Six Nations. Tim mentioned it at halftime, but mistake from Russell because he decided to run hard. And then just a loose ball didn't go to anyone. And the French do score. However, they're France 24-13. Says William Moses. But yeah, Russell tried to go for the flick pass on the inside. Didn't have a teammate ready for it. And then Darcy Graham, good effort to get back, to cut off the initial man. Then Biel Barri, he started tearing away. Beep Beep breaks the record. Says all in the game. And the thrill is gone, says Spider Mickey. It certainly makes it more challenging for the Scottish team here. That one's going to go over, making the score now 13 points to 23. The 10-point gap, as at the beginning of the end, says RIP, and Russell was a liability, says Karma Peach. That's the thing. He can be a 10 out of 10 player, but every once in a while, a little mistake like that, which seems so little at the time, turns into 7 points and momentum back in favour of the French. Biel Barret as our cheater. He's too fast. Bravo, bip, bip, says Chris. And our Roosters are showing their power and long way to go, people, says John. Exactly right. And we have got there Scotland has to win. And we have got also France take the Six Nations Championship and Ireland win the Triple Crown. I don't like to see Scotland lose, but rather that than the English taking the Six Nations. And Russell has not been on form all Six Nations. Says Kerr there as well. And it does make it tricky because, of course, when he's the first receiver in a lot of scenarios, if he's not firing, more times than not, the backline's just not quite doing it either. Now, Maxime Luku gonna roll this ball back and kicked towards the touchline. Does get it out. England never wins though, says Gary. Yeah, when was the last time England won the Six Nations? That's a good question. England Six Nations champions. England and Wales have won the championship. Where is it? Last win champions. What do we got? Hopefully we get some sort of information about it. Most titles, England and Wales both have 39. What do we got? Oh, that's a lot of information. Right, we're scrolling down. We're going to find the info. So Ireland. England won it in 2020. France won it in 2022. So both sides relatively recent with their most recent one, who has won the Six Nations the most. England and Wales, both 39 apiece, I did see. And 2020, I think, says Mr. Orland, you were correct. No one wants the English to win, for sure. Vive la France, says Vitamin. Now that's going to be a clean steal, or is it? It's going to be the knock-on. So it was a good turnover for Gilliard, but then knocking it on the ground. And come on, Scotland, says Gary Lees. And England, Xander, says Jimbo there too. Yeah, if Scotland want a chance, they have to make sure they score next. And I said that at the start of the half. I said that they had to be the first try scorer or else it could be a bit of danger. And now they find themselves in that exact danger. Scotland some time, a fight back for the win. Yeah, they've still got time. And they'll be a little bit nervous, I would think, just at this time because they were close to scoring in the first half. Got taken away. Just looking at the percentage at the moment, in terms of what they feel the odds are, it is currently 96% likely that the French are going to win. Now, I get it. They are in the lead by 10, but 96 is a very large number out of the 100. So I'd give them a little bit more. I'd say maybe, 89, 10%. Scotland aren't out of this. And the French discipline has been the big talking point throughout that first half. We are still waiting for the scrum to take place, by the way. If it's not the Grand Slam, does it matter? Yes. Because it's still points-based, isn't it? Going to Paris to play a French team fighting for a trophy in the last game is a very big ask for any side. Yep. And, Scotland, they are the type of side to randomly pull out a massive performance. And that first half made it seem like it was possible. But sadly, just from there, second half has been pretty much all France, with the exception of that one attacking chance where Russell gave it away. Damn, only 5% left. Time to charge, says Spider-Mick, and come on the Scots. FFS, says England. Says Sebastian, who was, of course, going for England in the Six Nations. But now feeding the ball in, it is Ben White. Or trying to. The scrum really moving a lot. It's going to be claimed by the Scottish. Finn Russell goes across. Throws it to Hugh Jones. Now Ben White going for the kick in behind. That was a poor decision again. Scotland starting to try things that I don't think they need to. How far are French from a bonus point, says Vitamin Green. They've got 2 tries, but all they need is the win here. Whether or not they get a bonus point is not important for the overall standings, but yeah, they still need 2 more tries. Now King on, kicking in behind, kicked out on the full. I don't understand this from Scotland. That's like 3 errors in a row. And I'm very confused. And 30 minutes going, France has a 96% chance to win. Wow, says Xander. Yeah, they're certainly highly rating the home side here. I'll free kick you, says the referee. Hamish, do you like ham? I don't mind ham. Like, it's all right. Around Christmas time, it's a bit of a treat. Ham and cheese toasty, they go all right. And Precious says Neil. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is they just need to keep their composure. Like, they are a strong side when they just use their backline. But, yeah, they just made a lot of little interesting choices. That's going to be another scrum fee. Scots overplaying their game. Yeah, like, just go back to the basics, I would say, is the best advice for Scotland here. And yes, it's easier said than done when you're not playing at the Stade de France in front of 80,000 people who are all cheering against you. Haven't you tossed there? Says Sebastian. Okay, there. Why was the second Scots try chalked off Hamish? They said he was in touch, but we never got a replay of it. We looked at it in live play, and his knee looked close to touching over the sideline. But yeah, it would have been nice to see some sort of action replay of it from another angle so we actually knew that it was legit. But yeah, no proof that it was a try or wasn't, which is an interesting one. Scotland making silly mistakes or wrong strategy. I think it's just making silly mistakes. They just need to stay composed here. Like, this is better. Just a classic backline movement. Russell goes through, flicks it on the outside to Graham, and they move to 15 metres out from the try line. Back across, Ritchie goes to Matt Fagerson. Now, the last thing they need here is to rush anything and go for a little chip in behind or anything along those lines. Just run the ball, although that's a great bit of work almost from the French. They've given away the penalty advantage. Never thought I'd ask, who would you like to see win? Are you neutral, says Sonny. I'm pretty neutral in this game. Like, of course, there's the underdog story of the Scottish, but the French do deserve to win the Six Nations as well. At the end of the day, like, I've got a points differential of over 100 at this point in time, and they've only played 4 games. And now, it's going to be a good attacking run forward from Dave. Cherry's in La La Land here. He does not look good at the moment. They're going to go back for the penalty, but I think Cherry will have to go from the field for Ewan Ashman, as he looked very confused. People who eat ham are less likely to be... right, no, we can't read that one, Bruce. And we have got there, come on, Scotland, unleash the dragon, says David the mod. France PD going into this game was 120. England were 74-ish. I think so I'd favour, or I'm in favour of France. Right, they're going to take the kick at goal. I get it. I do. Gets you back it gets you back to 7 down. Maybe just looking to split the play up a little bit. They've got their very valuable experience for a young French side coming to New Zealand. Probably the best kind of preparation and experience for any team, really, says John. And yeah, I know, like, some people aren't happy about it, but at the end of the day, like, you know, now we've learnt Dupont wasn't going to be playing anyway due to his injury. And, you know, New Zealand still have to beat them. Young French side, they went to Argentina, and what they did off the field wasn't ideal, but what they did on it was pretty impressive, going 1-1. Scotland playing some nice rugby here, says Cal Mack. Now kicked off. That's going to make the points back to 7 different. Slap back, and France have got the ball. And that is the slight risk of going for the 3, as now we might see France fire straight back, score a try of their own. Now, Marchand. He's made his way onto the field. That was for Pieter Malvaca. Also, Gelange is out there, part of the 7-1 split. Jejo. Ball on the inside. Tackle is called again. We get it. We want a corner kick for a possible 7-pointer, although that's the penalty to Scotland on the 22. Jamie Ritchie was mentioned about earlier on how because he got that card earlier, he might be really looking to take it to the next level. That's what he's done here. Change your alliance for a French victory. The Scots stroking now. Says Xander. And Scotland are a big confidence team, especially with Russell. That one hasn't found touch. They're hurting themselves here, Scotland. Which means now Biel Paré. Oh, what a take that is. Under the high ball. Luku going across here. Sirubai off to Miafu. Finds the offload to Intermac. Numbers on the outside. As long as that pass wasn't forward, it's going to be a good one. Damien Pinot with the chip in behind. Doing fun to murder. How deep inside of his area is he going to run? Managed just to get it around Damien Pinot, though. Passes off to Russell. There's no option but to clear the lines. And it goes into touch. How many hours did you sleep in between the games, Hamish? Probably like 2. Something like that. So not a huge amount. Have a nap after this, Hamish says, Kevin. I think I'm going to have to, aren't I? Is there any other game tomorrow? No games tomorrow, but next week we are going to be doing Super Rugby as well as the URC. I'm looking forward to seeing Jamie Ritchie at Perpignan this next season. I always say that name wrong, by the way, but yeah. He's going to be interesting in the French competition just because I feel like his breakdown work would actually really make them impressed, which is probably why they signed him, to be fair. Mofana now, tackled by Dave Cherry. I'm surprised he is continuing in this match. He made the tackle on the floor. He is not happy with Matthew Carley. And they'll go back for the penalty to French side again. Perpignan. Says Ken, yeah, I don't know why I say the G so stiffly in there. And we have got there, for those who slate France for not taking their strongest team to New Zealand, show a lack of depth of rugby, no. Galtier is exposing his novice test men in order to build 3-tier test depth. He's wise. After game, are you streaming 6 hours of rugby 25? Probably not. I'd say we'll be missing those ones, but I should be up by the evening. There's just there'll be no other streams. Like I said, there's only this rugby on. And then no Monday morning game. Like some of the other rounds of the Six Nations. Now Marchand throws it in, nicely taken by Jejo. Looking for this rolling maul. And it is slightly rolling. Which is good news here for the French. Julian Marchand sitting at the back of it, and South Africa still be ranked number 1. They certainly can. No one can take that spot from the Springboks at this stage. Marchand breaking off the back. Maxime Luku goes across to Gelange. The bomb squad came on at 46 minutes, says Ken. Miafu. Luku. Just slowly working their way just that little bit closer to that 5-metre line here for the French. Now Mofana is on the verge of scoring yet again. Passed out to Ramos. And he's driven into touch. But the penalty, no. Penalty will go the way of the French again. This penalty count is getting huge. At the moment, Springboks are 2 points ahead of second, says Vitamin Green. And we have got there, who's going to end the year ranked number 1? I feel like the obvious choice is South Africa, but with the games that they're playing, they can't actually gain a huge amount on the rankings. It could lose a massive number if they were to be defeated, which, who knows, maybe there's an upset on the cards. Our biggest game of the year will be France versus Box in November, says Ken. Now rolling maul for France, somehow dragged down just short, but there is another advantage. If Carley's arm's going to get tired soon, Ramos goes through and scores the try. And that will now give the French I believe that is 3 tries, so not quite the bonus point, but a substantial lead of 12. Does Scotland look back and regret taking that 3 points near the start of the half? Box says ABs at Eden in September for me, mate. Says Kurnovic. But yeah, the big run forward. And then finishes it off for Thomas Ramos. Ramos is a goal player. Says Ruth in there as well. Try time for France. Awesome from Ramos. Says Matthew. And now France just looking to keep on extending that lead. When will it be All Blacks first game? In July. Or I think they might even have one in late June. But yeah, long time away from international rugby for anyone else after this game. It's given Box versus Scotland Autumn Series. Says Bulls. Yeah, at the moment, Scotland just haven't been able to find their rhythm throughout this second 40, and I don't know whether or not it was that disallowed try right at the end of the half, or whether it was just, something changed in the second 40 minutes. Box can't always stay number one. We need to accept we are going to fall at some point. So adds, oddly enough, pressure to stay number one, and World Rugby can go ahead and do the Rugby World Cup 2027 pool draws now. 1 and 4 deserve their respective spots. Says Victor, kicked him behind. Looking for a 50-22. Duan Van der Merwe, tackled early from Damien Pinot. Pressure is on again for Scotland, who will have to clear their lines only just inside of their own 5-metre line. Can't wait to see us Froggies play against South Africa or New Zealand for a good picture of level, says Chris Ace. Who are the contenders for player of the tournament? It's a tricky one. I mean, Biel Barry, the fact that he has scored the most tries anyone ever has in a Six Nations, definitely has to put his name in the hat. I think we've seen some good performances from guys, but yeah, I think Biel Barry probably is right up there for me. I'm trying to think of anyone else who's really stood up for their side. I feel like there's a couple Irish players who have done not terribly. I kicked him high from Maxime Luku, just making sure it goes out and making it a line out now inside of the Scottish 22. As well as playing with South Africa this year. I think so. Louis Belbery or Curry, says Ken. So you going Ben Curry or Scott Curry? Because I know Ben Curry got man of the match in this most recent match, but I believe Tom Curry had a couple good games earlier on. So it's a little bit confusing since they both look very similar, being identical twins. Sometimes it's a bit hard to follow who is actually out there. You're there for the coffee fund, mate. Thanks for the hard work and long hours up. Thank you very much, Chuck. Greatly appreciated. It is the Australian dollars as well. So a nice early morning start for yourself, I believe. What happened in this half? Scotland, yeah, just lost their rhythm. Either of the Curry, says Ken. If you play to France, can't see Scotland making a comeback. Just have to defend the lead, says Rabic. Yeah, and it is a shame that second half hasn't quite gone as smoothly as we would have liked. Eden Park record getting broken hands. Hard one to say. Still a long time, so a lot of injuries can happen till then. Ben White just adjusting his shoulder padding. We've got their time left in this match. Still another 20 minutes on the clock. And Michael has said doesn't. So they don't play them this year, I assume that is. Now line out for Julien Marchand. 22 metres out from the line, well taken by, it was the starting 6, which would have been Bodient. Now, good shot on Mofana, low from Ewan Ashman. 65th minute, often a turning point, says John. You need to treat yourself to some chicken nuggets after this game, says Matthew. And Scots are fading away now after playing so well. Quite disappointing, says Victor. Steak and cheese funds, says Blues Nader. What's the odds now for the French to win? We'll have a quick look. A little bit of a loose ball there. Going to be a knock-on against the Scottish. 98% chance for France to win. 1% draw, 1% for Scotland to win. South Africa versus Wales will be tragic to the Welsh now. Backline here again. Biel Barre. Gets the offload. Great hands from France. Mofana goes over, slams it down, and that is another one for the French number 12. What can you say other than this French side are the real deal? There's so many potential try scorers across the starting lineup that it is hard to keep track of who will be able to score them. But Mofana, he's had a field day in that 12 jersey. What a try. Says Jimbo, nearly 20 to go. France will turn up the volume soon. There you go. Says Kernovec. And another try for us. I think we are sleeping in the first half. And now we develop our game, says Chris Ace. And a box to beat, or to break the record, 7-1. Says Bulls. So France have dissected this Springbok game and now play Lebok game. Says Juan Pierre. And Mofana is a find of this year for France. I've doubted him for a couple of years, but he's come good. And maybe it is just the fact now that Dante's gone. You know, there was a long time where he had to bide his time and wait for the opportunity. One of the commentators, the Irish one, just said, would it be controversial if I said France are good at rugby? They are very good. Will the record at Eden Park still be standing in 2025? No idea. Like I said, still a long way away. So we've got to wait to see who's actually in the squads, who's going to be available. Nice take from Maxime Luku. And does put the ball into touch. Let's go, says Blues Nate. Dante went off the boil, says Ken. Visits to the opposition, 22 for France. They've had 7 and they've got 29 points from it. That means that they have got 4.1 points per visit. Luku not firing as well as last week. Yeah, although he's still been solid in this match. Like, he's had some good passes along the way, anticipating the 7-1 derby. Says Bob Hello. Nicely taken by Scotland. It's a good pass from Ben White. France got it. Says Julian. Yeah, it does seem like the French, they'll have to do something really bad to lose this game from here. With currently the 19 points difference, pretty much Scotland need 3 tries. Did they change the bomb squad split rule yet? Oh, it won't be changed after all the complaints, says Xander. At this stage, it seems fine. I mean, France are doing it too. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it does end up eventually getting switched in some regard. Now still there for Scotland. Attacking just outside of their own half. Hugh Jones goes for the kick in behind. Does roll into touch about 22 metres out. A little bit of a different tactic there for Scotland, trying to play the territory game. Seeing whether or not that will work. And France are so different with Mofana and Fiku starting, says Jimbo. And the side of New Zealand would cause Robinson some concern, I reckon. It would, but sadly they're not bringing this side. They are going with a heap of younger guys. Will the record at Eden Park still be standing in 2025? Like I said, very hard to tell. Like, we need to at least see the squads. We need to see what's happening. The form of the teams throughout the July internationals too will be a big factor, which a lot of people aren't anticipating. They're just basing it off what they saw last November. Now, chance for Tom Jordan. Sitting 20 metres out. A good set piece might set this up, says John. And also, France been handed this, haven't they, says Denbot. There was 1 or 2 controversial decisions earlier on, but I do still think that, like, France have been the strongest side. Like, Scotland had some great numbers in the first half, but unfortunately they just haven't had that clinical decision-making that we are used to seeing from Scotland when they are at their absolute best. Kinghorn moves only 12 metres out. How did they not get a red card for the off-the-ball spear to the head? Yeah, that one I did disagree with. Like, it should have been a red because they said because he didn't get him that well, that's why it's only a yellow. But if you've got intent to try and headbutt a guy, right, injury to Hugh Jones here, they might just check this, do they? Right, it's a knock-on at the moment, says Matthew Carley, but there might have been a tip here. Okay, that's actually the tip tackle on Finn Russell that they've shown there. So that wasn't Hugh Jones. I'm not sure what happened to him. I want to know if you think Australia can take the lead, Hamish, Says Mr. All-In. Once again, we'll have to wait for those July internationals. At the moment, I think Aussie Rugby is in a much better place than they were at probably this time last year. The French reporter was saying that she stood outside the French dressing room halftime. Galtier went ballistic, says Ken. They played well, but a lot has gone their way. I'm English, so one of the Scots to stuff them, says Dembot. Only just joined the cast. How many tries have France got? They got their bonus point already, thanks, says Ian. They do have the bonus point, although they didn't actually need it from this game. Of course, it does well and truly secure the Six Nations rather than going to points differential. It looks like Hugh Jones is going to be all right to continue this match, even though his lip is well and truly busted. She went on to say that the players came out looking pretty scared, says Ken. And Louis Bielbarri branding Russell. And also tip tackle, says Calmac. Yeah, we have seen those given as yellow cards before. But in this game, it seems like it will just be the penalty. Do you like hamsters? I've never had one. And I probably don't have enough knowledge of them to give a fair judgment, as they might be extremely nice, but yeah, I just haven't had one before. Superb Six Nation edition, regardless. Top-notch work as always, Hamish. Thank you for your dedication, mate, says Sebastian. Thank you very much for being here. Of course, you guys have been here for hours and hours, not just myself, for the Six Nations. But now, looking for the rolling maul with Ewan Ashman. Jamie Dobie, he has now made his way on for Ben White. They've been told to use it here, the Scottish. Now Russell goes across on the outside to Duan van der Merwe. He's tackled and in touch. We're going to get a replay of that one. The French cried about the ref in the game against Ireland as well. Looking forward to the Lions going on tour. I know Xander, she's married to an ex-French player. She's well known. Says Ken. And yeah, just a good low tackle made by Ramos, eventually working his way down to push him out alongside Damien Pinot. And already over Scotland, says William Moses. Yeah, it's a tricky one because at this stage, Scotland more so are playing for the pride side of things. Like 3 converted tries down is not an easy task. Definitely not with only about 12 minutes remaining on the clock. Want to see a greedy France, says Robert. Rolling maul going again here. Marchand just hiding at the back. Maxime Luku kicks it downfield. Bounce of the ball is not favourable for Duan van der Merwe. This 53-metre kick. Kinghorn goes off to Duan. And now has men with him. He's got Darcy Graham goes on the outside. That looked close to forward. Now 25 metres out from the line here for the Scottish. Finn Russell. Skip past to Grant Gilchrist. Now shifting it on again. Ewan Ashman tries to bump out a Pinot's challenge. Goes back in for Xander Fagerson. Has to jump on a massive forward pass from Duan van der Merwe. Yeah, look, that looked flat at best is the way I would describe that one. But now Dobie goes to Ewan Ashman. Another pass. Oh, Dobie falls over. That was due to the breakdown. Yeah, Hugh Jones has actually gone off for head injury assessment now. Muncaster. He just made his way on. I think 16-13 half-time, says Robert. We have there, Australia is a threat to the ABs thanks to Joe Schmidt, says Spider Mick, and France committing very few to the ruck. Yeah, they're just waiting for Scotland to make the mistake. You take on Full Tours being back. New Zealand versus Box. Oh, sorry, your take on Full Tours being back. Yeah, I'm glad to see it. Like, sometimes, you see a couple matches between two sides and it just doesn't feel like enough. Like, I hated when it was just the two. Like, Ireland, South Africa, perfect example. When they went to South Africa, 2 matches, 1 apiece. No one gets that final knowledge of who actually won the series. So, yeah, I'm glad it is back. And, I mean, New Zealand versus South Africa, always awesome when we get to see those two sides go head-to-head more often. Once again, good backline from Scotland. That just didn't lead to anything massive, unfortunately. Now the line out for France, they will sit about 22 metres out from their own line. I agree on the full tours. Says Vitamin Green, and England probably just happy to get over the old rival as at their biggest win margin against each other. It's the biggest win that they've had over Wales in Wales. Penalty, no arms tackle. And that is Anthony Gelange. That was an interesting comment. So pretty much the Irish commentator was saying about the freshness of the players off the bench. Now it can be a bit of a unfair advantage. But 10 minutes remaining. Scotland take the quick tap. Can they get over the line again? Finn Russell goes off to Duan van der Merwe. He is driven backwards again. They've shut him down pretty well throughout this contest with the exception of his line break just before. It's like unfinished business, says Lilia Beast. However, it's just the best, says Bazuma. And we have there, looks like Scotland have forgotten how to score, says Bruce. Although they're trying to remind themselves here. Dobie going off to the right-hand side to Ewan Ashman. 5 metres from the try line. Ramos almost overcommitted to that breakdown. Marchand, did he get the clean steal? Ball is still there for Scotland. Ewan Ashman. Now around the side. Almost managed to put it down, but it's going to be held up. And that will become the goal line dropout. Clean water or a little something stronger than water? That was just water. And not worried, Scotland is about to rule the world, says John. Let's have African wines here in UK. As I'm sure you know, fairly cheap and quite tasty. I realise now that there's not many teams that like England in the Six Nations. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Normally the mindset that I've heard quite a bit from quite a few people is anyone but England. But, you know, a lot of people were getting behind Scotland in this game so that it was, I guess, anyone but France. Which doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but tis the situation we find ourselves in. Now Ferguson running it forward again. Finn Russell. Oh, it was close to forward too for Scotland. They're being right on the verge of what is and what isn't allowed in the passing department. Big shot from Gelange. Dobie. Off to Gilchrist, then Sutherland, and France get another steal. France have made over 150 tackles so far, says Calmack, and that's where maybe their 7-1 split off the bench has really helped them out. The fact that they're still fresh at this time of the contest does give them massive advantage here. And JB, I'll have one when I have my breakfast after, bro, says Matthew. And come on, France, says Robert. What no try, says John. Yeah, Scotland not able to go over the line. Unfortunately, your favourite player at the moment. Honestly, like, it's so tough to say because of all the rugby that we do watch and cover. As in, like, for the Six Nations balls or just in general? Because I probably don't have a favourite just in general currently. Come on, Scotland, get it over the line, says Cal Mack. Louis Bielbarri says, Ken, if you're enjoying the broadcast, people, then please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Says James, yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to do so. So impressed with Italy this year. I remember during my first streams on this channel, how people were debating Italy being replaced by Georgia and so on. They've proved us all wrong. Good on them. Says Sebastian. Yeah, now everyone's saying to replace Wales with Georgia, aren't they? It's kind of switched a little bit. And Johnny Wilkinson team we all respected, but Owen Farrell brought disgrace. No one wants to love them now, and I think South Africans prefer the English to the French. Man of the match, says John. I would probably say, I mean, there's been some good moments from the French forward pack, but I'd probably go with Mofana. Are they allowed to go with an 8-0 split? You are, but not many sides have done it because of the fact that injuries can happen, and you don't really want to risk it. The ABs versus Box at Eden Park is going to be the ultimate showdown, says Michael. Yep, massive match. And it is getting closer. And New Zealand win the next Rugby World Cup. Northern Hemisphere teams have to wait, says Marwan. Right, being told to use it again here for the Scottish. After Blair Kinghorn. 6. Oh, that's going to be stolen by France. He wanted it. The referee says, no, you can't have it. Oh, started offside. Scotland wanted to take the quick tap. Ref said no. He didn't actually give a reason why he said no, though. I've just said there, 34 points in about 30 minutes up against the Irish. Colby or Dupont, says Bulls. Are they the only two options? It depends on what you're needing. Like, Colby has got a lot of versatility in terms of, I mean, we've seen him throwing or putting the scrum in for the South Africans, which of course is what Colby does, what Dupont does on the regular. Looks like Legaric is about to make his way onto the field. Another French try. Scoreline will look spooky. And Scotland deserve a try, says Cal Mack. And that's going to be stolen again by France, though. When it comes to the line out, the problem with the Six Nations and relegation is that all the Six Nations own the shares of the Six Nations company, so it's a closed shop. Exactly. And I think that's one part that some people do miss in terms of the reasoning behind why they haven't added new sides is because, to add another team in, if you're still keeping it as the Six Nations, someone has to be willing to lose their spot. And if you've all got shares in the Six Nations, of course, you're not going to throw your team to the wolves and say, no, you can leave so that we can chuck in another side. English is already sour for this French victory, says Xander. Marcus Smith, fly half or fullback. See, that's the thing. Like, honestly, I thought fly half, but Finn Smith's been on fire in that 10 jersey. So that's kind of forcing Smith back into 15, and we're not really seeing him as much for the English as we used to, just because, everything's going through Finn Smith now. I'd say fullback says Jackson. Right, Maxime Luku. He has now made his way off. Legaric is on there. Finn Smith looks like it's already his 50th cap, says Kenya. He just looks like a really talented youngster that has a very bright future. Kicked high by Jamie Doby. And that's a really hard landing for Damien Pinot. Not a fair contest, they have said, so he was taken in the end. Another penalty because of his versatility, says Jackson. Dupont is good in his position, but Colby is best in many positions, says Cornelius. And biased Harlequins fan, says Sebastian. And 50-50, says Ken. I've just said there that Jamie Ritchie did go up for it and had a decent crack, but just did not quite work out for him. I'll mention anyone who is new, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Just because the Six Nations is over does not mean that the streams are stopping. We have got the URC that we are doing next week. Super Rugby, the Sevens. There we go. Mo Farner did get player of the match. Cole's played at 10 at Toulouse a couple of times, says Ken. Watching from LA on Messenger with friends from Essex, says Blake. So we do appreciate you being here for this match. This ball's going to be dropped. Go back for a knock-on against Scotland at the line-out. I was at Richie Vengeance, says John. Right, Rory Sutherland just asking for a penalty for something there. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but he was convinced that whatever he thought it was worthy of said penalty. Seen their meters made over 500 for the French in this contest. They have just, they've fought the adversity of the Scottish team. They handled the onslaught. And now they've almost got the win. 2 minutes away from a Six Nations title. France need one more try to make this more convincing, says Ken. Oh, they are going to go upstairs. So I mentioned about Rory Sutherland saying he was convinced that something had happened. And Colby is a complete player. I'm sure he could also play hooker if he was asked, says Vitamin. There, hey Image, thank you brother for all the streams, true legend, says Birdie V, no worries at all. Watching from Fiji, let's go France, says Darren. Right, what are we looking for? Yeah. So Scottish player in crew ends up flipping him over. No point coming on now. Congrats to France, fully deserves the Six Nations title. Yeah, it was a lot more one-sided in the second half than we wanted. What was your end score prediction again, Tim? Was it anywhere near this? And TMO for what now? So yeah, they're just checking something in terms of a flipping of a player in the breakdown. Not necessary from Scotland. Right. He only grabs the French player as he's standing up. So they're saying that he's not actually deliberately flipping him. I wouldn't know, to be honest. Not a wine drinker, but heard from mates who are wine snobs. They're praising the South African varieties. And well done, France, for showing that an Ireland a point how to play good winning rugby throughout the competition, not only in 1 or 2 games, says Cornelius. Worried about the Lions' fly half depth. Not sure if Finn Russell, however, I'm not sure if there is a better fly half to choose. Maybe Prendergast. If he matures faster, says Jackson. Yeah, it'll be a big decision. The benefit that they've got in some regards is I don't think Australia, I'd say Donaldson's probably the front runner in that department. Noel Alessio, I don't think the Lions would be too concerned about, to be honest. My prediction was 50 points to 13 for France. Says Anders, so they need 1 or 2 more and 30 points to 20, my prediction. Close but no cigar. Says Rugby Itch and Vive la France. Says Gunner, little chipper behind, attempted, and that ball does roll into touch 5 metres out from the line, and they'll go back for another penalty in the favour of the French. That's going to be about the 15th, I would say. It at least feels like South African wine has already been good. The only thing that's changed is high exports and promotion. And a pick up on the poll was, or my pick on the poll was a draw. Cheers for the commentary, Hamish. Says Mr. Orland, no worries at all. We have got there, Colby is a very good wing, DuPont is a very good 9. DuPont is captain material, Colby is not. The variables are many, depends on the supportive view at the end of the day. Yeah, they are 2 very different players. Yes, there's the occasional similarity, but you're both absolutely world class. Good night all, disappointing for some and not disappointing for others. Finally, we'll make it. We deserve, where'd that go? We deserve the Six Nations this year. I say that knowing all the teams we're fighting. We are a good team now. And thank you very much, David, for your generosity. Great commentary as usual, Hamish. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, greatly appreciated for your kindness. But now, France going to be dragged down there. Only 30 seconds remaining in this contest. And David the Mod, of course, that will go down as the historic last donation of the Six Nations for 2025. That'll be a quiz question at some point. Probably not, but we now know the answer. Good job with the commentary, mate. Says Gunner time. Well done, Hamish. Says John. And that's again Hamish. And France take the Six Nations. We win the triple. Bang on. Says Kernovik. Another 9 seconds remaining. Now off to the right. Says Marchand. Lee Garrick. Goes back across. I'd like to think that where France are on the field, they'd go for one more try, but they may not. They've offloaded it back. Just waiting for that siren to sound. Well done, France, says John. And that's in the commentary. Sarah Hamish says Xander. South African TMO, South African officials. As Ventus 9 bib note. And that one will be kicked out. Roman Intermac finishes it off. And that is the Six Nations 2025 done and dusted. And the win for the French. 35 points to 16. Last donation of the Six Nations is in New Zealand dollars. Gotta love World Rugby, says Sebastian. And then you actually got Loftus next week, says Robert. And also it's over, says Ken. So yeah, massive win for Galtier and his French team. The Six Nations going back to France for the first time since 2022. And congratulations, France. Says David the Modern. France wins the Six Nations. Says Rugby the second. And there. As well, Triple Crown means nothing. Did Leinster ever win the World Cup It's a no, says Cornelius. And almost midnight here in Cape Town. I'm going to sleep now. Cheers, Hamish, says Vitamin Green. And is it now France, then England, then Ireland so far as the table is concerned? That is correct. Yep. So it goes France, England, Ireland, Scotland, Italy, Wales as the last order of the competition. It's great. This is Rugby Scotland. It wasn't that bad, was it? And France won this game in the first minutes, if we are honest. Congratulations, France. They played the best rugby, fully deserved. Thank you, Hamish. We appreciate every second of your commentary. Have a fabulous week. Says Lilia B. Thank you very much. And yeah, we will get to catch you guys for next weekend for the URC as well as Super Rugby. So anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But I do thank you all very much for the support throughout the competition. Big thank you if Rugby Itch is still here for covering the first round matches for us. And yeah, it's been an entertaining comp. Pretty close overall. But the French, they got that big win over Ireland and then from there put themselves right up into the right spot to win the competition. But thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the next one.